Hey, is this me? I can't tell. Hey, it's fucking weekly metal reviews here, and we got a review of the new fucking Megadeth. Yeah, Dystopia. This is the 15th album. I'm gonna stop talking. Yes, their 15th album. Holy shit. It's their first one since fucking Shit Collider of 2013. That was a shit show. Before we dive into it, the first riff is better than all of Super Collider.
Yeah. Oh my god. The whole fucking thing.
So yeah, this lineup has this album has a different lineup. No more Chris Broderick, no more Sean Drover. You have Kiko Loureiro on guitar, and Chris Adler from Lamb of God on drums. Still the Megadeth though.
Still Megadeth with the other two that you know.
Fuck it, who cares about them?
Album art's pretty cool for this album.
Yeah, it is. It's very Megadeth. What do you think, dickhead?
Oh, all right. This band, and this is slightly unrelated. This band confuses the shit out of me. That 2.5 years ago they could put out Super Collider, and then this year they put this out. Yeah. And you know, it's just the fucking Megadeth pattern. Every other album is good, and then the next one sucks, and then it's good, and then it sucks, and or it's not as good, and then it's like, oh my god, this is one of the best albums I've heard in a while, and this album falls into that category. This album is really good. Like Tyler said, you know, the second it starts, it's, you know, it hits hard and it hits fast, which is, you know, again, something Super Collider can't attest to too much. I mean, like, The Threat Is Real is a great opening song, and the other songs I really like from this album is, of course, I like Dystopia. We were talking when we gave another listen to the main riff of that song is amazing. Death From Within, I really like that song a lot as well. Poisonous Shadows is heavy as shit. And also, my other song that I really like is Lying in State, which is like, the song's groovy. And so, the whole of this album, I mean, yeah, there's riffs, and it's, you know, like I said, actual riffs on this album, and it's actual, like, it's almost even, it's more so than, like 13, because 13 was more of like a rock metal album, in a way. Whereas this is a little bit more of like old school Megadeth. Like they got like that fire back in them to write, you know, songs, the type of songs that they used to write back with like Rust in Peace and things like that. I mean, heck, the main riff of Dystopia sounds kind of like Hangar 18 a little bit. So it's like, you know, they kind of got that drive about them. And probably the new people coming in too, it just seems like, again, they're reinvigorated. Like, the one part in Poisonous Shadows where like the double bass is really fast and like or like during the main riff, like that's reminds me like a lot of something like Lamb of God would do. So that makes me think like, oh, that's like a, you know, a Chris Adler thing that maybe he put the drums in and they're like, yeah, let's do this. And so it makes me think. And Kiko Loureiro is, you know, his leads on top of a lot of stuff are really good, and the solos are good. Like I actually really like half the solos. Whereas you ask me, honestly, any solos from the last couple of Megadeth albums, and I don't remember any of them. Whereas, like, you know, I really like the solo in Dystopia, and I really like the solos and the leads in Lying in State. Like, those are probably my two favorite songs from this album. And, like, this album's heavy, which is weird. Like, I don't normally associate Megadeth as a heavy band, but, like, this album is heavy. Again, like I said, Poisonous Shadows is one. Death From Within was another song that I thought was really good and heavy. Dave's vocals sound alright on this album. Like, and again, I don't know if it's production that like if it's he goes back and forth on it, but like it's not as gravelly as like let's say Endgame, which I hate the vocals on Endgame with a passion. It's more like again I'd say albums like United Abomination or Rust in Peace, where it's a little bit more not singy because he can't sing, but like he's not trying to overcompensate that by just like sounding like he's like gargling something in his throat while he sings. But yes, this album.
That was Super Collider.
Thumbnail.
Suck dick.
Thumbnail right there. But yeah, I mean I really like this album. I mean any album is better than Super Collider, but definitely check this album out. If you're a Megadeth fan, then this is awesome. This is a really good album. So it gets the Keith Kilgore stamp of approval on it.
It's that official thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a stamp, and it's gonna say approved.
This album's fucking great, man. It really is, and I like when I can say that about Megadeth, because yeah, they are so hit and miss. Even throughout their whole career, they are fucking hit and miss to me. I literally think all the way back to Killing Is My Business and Business Is Good. Is like that album's kind of mediocre. I think Peace Sells really isn't that great. So far, so good. So What really isn't that great. Rust in Peace, fucking masterpiece. Countdown to Extinction, Euthanasia, great. Cryptic Writings, okay. Risk, The World Needs a Hero, fucking dog shit. They're so hit and miss. And even when their albums are good, they're so hit and miss. Like, even some of the songs, there's like a couple songs off of Countdown and Euthanasia, I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? I mean, it sucks. It's just... Sweating. Yeah, like, Sweating Bullets, like, really? Like, fuck, that song is so bad. So I'm surprised that I can sit here and say every song on this album is good. Like, what the fuck, man? I mean, when do you really say that very often about a Megadeth album? You could say the album is good, but it has a couple duds, but this album, it has fucking everything. Right away, you just feel it. You feel that almost like they took all the criticism of Super Collider to heart, and they're like, we're really going to do what we used to do and just blow your fucking brains out. And just, it's awesome. So right away with the thread is real. You're like, yes, this is awesome. This is exactly what I want to hear. And then it gets into Dystopia, which is my favorite song on here. That main riff combined with Dave Mustaine's vocals is fucking genius. It is so good. And then you get to the solos over top of the chorus, I guess, where Dave Mustaine's just going, Dystopia. And then you're like, wow. This fucking guy, Kiko Loreno or whatever, he can shred, man. I get that first solo stuck in my head all day. When he goes, like, way up the neck of the guitar, he's like... And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? But this gets stuck in my head. It's awesome. And then it has this, like, Hangar 18 random fucking tempo switch and mood swing. It's like, this is cool, man. I really fucking like this album. And then you get to a track, Poisonous Shadows, which is by far the heaviest fucking thing Megadeth has ever written. And yeah, it has a very Lamb of God feel. But one thing I was thinking on when I was listening to this album for the first time is I honestly forgot that Chris Adler was drumming on here, because it doesn't have Chris Adler's standard sound, and he did a good job of making it feel Megadeth.
Yeah.
And making the drums sound and just feel like a Megadeth album and not a Lamb of God album, and that is awesome. Like, lots of ride cymbals and all that stuff. It was really, really awesome. And like I said, Kiko, he can fucking shred. I think he's the best guitarist, probably in terms of writing, that he has had since Marty Friedman. It might even be the best since Marty Friedman behind him. I mean, the solos are catchy. That's the thing. He has the perfect blend of shreddy and catchy, When you think about Marty Friedman, what did he have? Shreddy and catchy. Awesome. It's exactly what you want. This whole album is badass, man. I mean, there's a couple really corny moments, such as, what's the song? Post-American World is kind of really corny. Dave Mustaine sometimes, I mean, he's not a good singer, so sometimes it just shows. But most of the time he does sound good, and he sounds way better than Super Collider. Everything, though. This album is heavy. And yeah, like he said, I don't think of Megadeth as a heavy band. I never have. I barely even think of them as a fucking thrash metal band, to be honest with you, because
they're so different from other thrash metal bands.
Yeah, and they don't really play thrash anymore. Like, yeah, they're thrashy at times, but they're more of just a fucking metal band, and that's cool. But there's some really thrashy moments on here. I seriously think this could maybe be one of the best Megadeth albums. It doesn't top like Rust in Peace, but it can certainly be top 3 to me. This is a really good album.
That's what I was thinking.
I'm honestly shocked that it's this good. I heard the first 3 songs they put out, and I'm like, there's no way this album's going to suck. There's absolutely no fucking way. Especially when they put Dystopia out. I'm like, there is absolutely no way this is going to suck. And it doesn't. And I'm surprised. It's kind of like when Iron Maiden put their album out last year. You were just surprised at how good it was.
It's like you get that feeling like, yeah, this album's not gonna suck, but like it was like, oh, it's actually better than just okay.
And it makes you feel good about Megadeth. You know, you talk about Megadeth in good light now, and not as a fucking joke. You know?
Yeah. But I'm not excited for the next album because of the pattern.
I mean, literally, some of these songs feel like they went back into the Megadeth vault, picked out some like fucking demos that they had of songs that didn't make any of their albums from the 80s, or like Rust in Peace or something, and go, that sounds pretty good. Why don't we re-record it, rework it a little bit, and there you go. Fatal Illusion is the best example of that. That is such a straight out of like So Far So Good So What song album. Like, awesome.
The other thing is because I didn't realize this since from listening to it the first time. The intro to that is so fucking weird.
Yeah,
it's so weird. Off time, and it's just like,
yeah. This is a very good album. It has that technicality of Megadeth, the shreddiness of Megadeth, and it has everything. I'm trying to think how to put it. When Megadeth puts all that together, it's really, really good, and they do it with pretty much every song on here, and that's awesome. This will be in my top 20 at the end of the year already.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I'm not ready to say top 10 yet. It could fall off, and then there's a lot of music that will still be coming out this year. But top 20, I can guarantee you, this is a great album.
It's probably be on my top 10. I mean, depending on how much I listen to, maybe I'll try to do more than 10. But I mean, whatever. So it's whatever happens.
Scores.
8.75 out of 10. I like it a lot.
9 out of 10 for me. So yeah, thanks for watching. Check out all our other stuff. 2016's here. There's music. And we have to listen to it. We're going to listen to it. We're going to tell you about it. And then you're going to watch it, maybe. I don't know. I don't know about that part.
Maybe. Be all prepared for that fucking great review of Axel Rudy Pell. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm sorry I brought that up. I had to end the video on a low note. I'm sorry.
You ruined it.